Hello there everybody, good day to you. Welcome back, glad you guys are here. We are returning to the 2004 Chevrolet Silverado that was blowing black smoke out of the tailpipe and barely ran. In the last episode I diagnosed some of the drivability issues, and I tossed in a bank 1 sensor 102 sensor. What was happening is it had a faulty sensor and it was sending the bank 1, that's cylinders 1, 3, and 5, into a full rich condition. So it was flooding half the engine, then the other half was running lean because it was trying to pull back fuel because the overall system said, hey, I'm running way wrong. So because of that, I put the sensor in, we watched the fuel trim data come back into line, and on this episode I want to go ahead and address that camshaft position sensor problem. So what we're going to do, I'm going to hop into this scanner and I'm just going to clear all the DTCs out. We're going to turn off that check engine light. We're going to restart the engine, let it run for a little while, and then we're going to see if it trips that P0340 code right away or if I've got to go drive it. Once that code trips or does not trip, that's going to determine the path forward with the rest of the repairs. I do have some more misfires to sort out. I can kind of feel it right now, but it, as you saw, it did start and it seems to be running a billion times better than it did when we found it. So let's just revisit those trouble codes one more time before I clear them. That way we're all refreshing our memory. We've got the P0128 thermostat stuck open code, P0300 random multiple misfires, P0341 camshaft sensor circuit out of range, and that one's gone. It's still doing that randomly disappearing trouble code thing. That catalytic converter P0430 code, that's kind of last on the list. It may have a catalytic converter that's underperforming, but with all those fuel trims being way out of line and all the misfires, we have to disregard that code at this current point in time. So let's see, I think this is all where it was when we last left it. I'm going to go ahead and back out of this, clear these guys out, shut her down, restart the engine, and we're going to see exactly what decides to pop back up. There we go, clear codes. And fear not, this entire video, unlike the last one, is not going to be us buried in the scan tool looking at data. We're going to move past that and we're going to do some hard part repairs if our failures reappear. So codes have been cleared, check engine light is off. Let's go ahead, power this thing down, and we'll give it a restart. Okay. All right, so with all of our DTCs cleared, I'm revisiting fuel trims one more time. We've got short-term fuel trims, bank 1 and bank 2. They are both hovering slightly in the negative, which is fine. They're plus or minus, 5 to 10, hovering around 0. Long terms are both steady at 0 and 0. That's what we want to see. Now, I do not have an instantaneously reoccurring P0340. That's that camshaft position sensor circuit code. That thing has not popped back up just yet. Now, we've only had like 2 minutes of runtime, so I'm not going to dismiss that. However, I'm on the path to trying to track down these subtle misfires and engine vibrations that it has. Going back to our first video, we recall having all that plume of smoke flying out of the tailpipe, and then the long crank, and then of course the stalling and misfiring. Because the bank 1 side of this engine was running so rich, I believe that those spark plugs in there are fouled out something fierce. So what we're going to do, I think, before tackling that distributor issue, is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to pop out some of those spark plugs that's on the bank 1 side and take a look at their condition. If they need to be replaced or if we need to do any additional work, we can proceed from there. I just want to make sure that this thing remains in good drivable condition before it goes back out on the road. Now, I do have here a new thermostat with the thermostat housing. That's our housing. There's our T-stat. I believe that's 195 degrees. Yep, yeah, it says down inside that hole, it says 195 degree on the Fahrenheit scale. So that's the appropriate temperature thermostat for this truck. But we can do that after we take a look at these secondary ignition components. Additionally, there was one other thing that I wanted to touch up on, and that was this wiring repair that goes to the connector to this ignition coil. I don't really care for how this has been done, and I think I'm going to end up redoing that. So let's fetch us some underhood lumens so we can see what we're trying to see here, and we'll get to work with pulling those plugs out. Once I get the top of the intake off, I can go ahead and tidy up that wire, and then we'll get, if we need to put plugs in there, we will, and then we can restart and reassess at that point in time. Engaging surface of the sun mode. There we go. Now we can see what we're trying to see.
All right, looky right here, right out of the gate, we're already coming up with some compelling evidence on these ignition wires. You see that spark plug wire right there, how it's running across the manifold, and then the wire is rubbing on that manifold. See that right there? That's no good. It's a little bit too tight in that little bracket there, and that thing has huge potential for arcing. Yeah, we can even see there's marks where it was burning on the metal itself right there. So yeah, that's a little bit of compelling evidence. Yeah, look at that. To replace these wires. I'm gonna try to pull these plugs out without breaking the wires, because I said I would. If I can reuse them and find out that they're not arcing, which I'm pretty sure they are, we're gonna have to replace those as well. So let's get this number 1 spark plug out of its hole right there. That's the easiest one to get to, and then we can go from there. So what we're gonna do is go in with the curvy needle nose pliers here, get a hold of that boot without poking a hole through it. We're gonna try to peel that away. See how that looks in there. Yeah, not the greatest. Okay. Spark plug socket coming in with the extension. These are always fun with those metal heat shields around the exhaust also, because those heat shields can get in the way of the spark plug socket, and then you have a hard time removing it. Neutral drop. Yeah, about that. That's not looking too happy. That thing's toast. Yeah, it's blackened and fouled out. Let me get my ramp gauge and we'll check the clearance on this. We're gonna check we'll check the gap. So the way this is gonna work is, I call this a ramp gauge because the gauge section of it is in fact a ramp. It goes from 20 thousandths of an inch and scales all the way up to 80 thousandths. So what we do is we take our spark plug, put the gauge in the gap between the plug and its electrode, slide it over until it stops, wiggle it some. Where do we land? Look at that. 74 thou. That's where it's coming out at. So, all right, that's one. That one's out of spec. That is due to either being improperly gapped, or from what we can see here, it looks like there's some wear inside of that plug. See that? Yepper. Okay, that is one worn spark plug adding to my case. Let's pull the rest of them out and see what they look like. All right, reaching on in, we're gonna get a hold of spark plug wire number 2 here. Let's try to pop this guy out without, oh, that one's gonna break. Maybe not, did I get it? Survey says, I think I got it, yeah. Let's just pull this thing aside, go in there and pull out that second plug. Same procedure, reach on back, get a hold of it, maneuver ourselves around that steering column. The steering shaft gets in the way on these 4.3s. I think the, ow, hot. I think the book says you're supposed to actually go into the wheel well to get a hold of that number 3 plug back there. And I can't even get my socket on it. There we go. Socket install. Okay, got the wobbly bits installed. Let's try to maneuver around, flashlight, around that steering shaft. Okay, that's not gonna work. Let's try it with an extension. Let's see if I can't get that guy out of there. Kinda. Come on out, plug numero dos. There we go. All right, let's see what we have here. This is spark plug number 3 out of the number 3 cylinder, and we're gauging out on this one at, looks like 68 thousandths. See that right there? Yeah, that's 68. Not as bad as that other one, but it does have some decent amount of carbon buildup on it, and there is wear at the electrode. Yeah, some more lumens. Yeah, it's not horrendous, but I'm fairly certain we're tracking down the source of some of those random misfires. All right, so way in the back, I stabbed you guys with my thing there. Way in the back, we've got the cylinder number 5 wire. Now this is interesting. It seems to have a coolant temp sensor wire
wrapped around it. See that right there? I fear breaking that, so I'm gonna try to disconnect that temp sensor. Come here. Yeah, we'll unplug this guy and get that unwrapped around. Let's inspect this wire for damage. It was sitting on the exhaust. Nah, that looks okay. Yeah, that wire is not melted through, so that's fine. Let's put this up and out of our way, and then I can reach back there and get that number 5 ignition wire removed. This was the trouble side of the engine. That's the one that had the misfire counts in the tens of thousands. Come on now. I'd like to do this without breaking this, but wiggle action, come on. I'm gonna ruin this one, guys. I don't know if I can get this one off without poking a hole in it or tearing the boot. Let's get a hold of it from farther back and twist. There we go. Okay. Reaching around again with the wobble on the plug right there. Got it. Let's see if I can't neutral drop this one to come out of there. Let's see what it does. Missed it. Gotta get some ratchet speed up. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, plug number 5 coming out. All right, spark plug from cylinder number 5 coming in here. Let's check this one out. Let's get her gapped up. Which scale am I on? Wrong one. This one's looking like 73, 74 thou. That's interesting. It's a little sideways there. That's not centered. The electrode is not centered. See that? I wonder if that's broken. Is this thing broke? Hang on here. I can't tell if that's got broken porcelain or... Oh yeah, look at that. And look at here, watch this. Look at that. Yeah, that thing's broken off down in the plug. So we found her running sideways. Okay, junk. All right, let's go ahead. I've got some new plugs here. These are NGK G-Powers. Let's go ahead and get a comparison between the new unit and the old ones. See that right there? That's a copper cord plug, and I think this one is nickel or platinum. I think it might be platinum. What's the box say? The box says platinum alloy. Okay, yeah. So these are platinum tipped. These are regular run-of-the-mill copper tips. So that one's junk. We don't need that. Let's check the gap real quick on our new ones. They're supposed to be pre-gapped, and spec is 60 thou. We're looking at like 59 thou right here. I'll take that out of the box. So NGK for the win. These ones are going in. The old original looking-ish Delcos are coming out. Okay, now you guys saw the potentially destructive method of pulling these things out. Doing neutral drops on your electric ratchets is not really great for the external portion of the porcelain on the spark plug. And so there's no way we're gonna put those back in such a fashion. Additionally, we could cross thread the plug into the cylinder head and then ruin the head, and all of those are not ideal situations. So having said that, we're going to start these by hand and then slowly run them in with the tools. You got to be careful with the tools. You don't want to break your sensitive components. Get on there. There we go. Nice and easy like. And we'll tighten her up by hand. A little more. A little tighter here. Hang on. Oh, hang on, you guys. Got to back up. You're in the way. There we go. Clickage. That's spark plug on cylinder 5 installed. Very good. Okay, plug number, or cylinder number 3 rather, That one's coming in. This one gapped out at 58 thousandths, which is right on the money. That's acceptable specified range, so that one can go in next without any modification. And let's get those threads run down. Where are you? Get on there. There. Hand packages. There we go. That one's good. Cylinder 3 complete. Let's move on to cylinder 1. Okay, next one's coming in. Let's get this guy threaded up. What I'm going to do is, after I get these 3 plugs changed, I'm going to go ahead and plug these wires back in since I did not break them. And we're going to review the scan tool data real fast and see if there's any misfires showing up. Or better yet, we'll see how it feels. Since the misfire count wasn't picking up on what I was feeling, we'll see if I can just visually notice a difference in performance. We'll try that first. A little bit more. And leakage. Right. So 3 new plugs installed. Let's get our wire. Let's get our wires on there. I may pull these back off and change them with a new set. I have yet to determine that. If I can get it running really good without putting wires in it, then I won't. But we'll see. I got a feeling I'm putting wires in this. Let's see. Plug that one in. I think that's in. Yep. And then the one in the back, way back there. Connected. Very good. Oh, yeah. And our coolant temp sensor, that's got to get plugged in as well. Otherwise, I'll give myself a check engine light. Again, I mean, I want one. I'd like to have the check engine light, but not on a code that I caused through leaving stuff disconnected. Okay. Get out of here, restart the engine, and then we'll recheck everything. All right, back in the cabin, restarting the engine. Much more better. Yeah, that shake is no longer present. This is good. Okay, so we definitely got somewhere with replacing the plugs on this side. Let's go shut this thing down again, pull the plugs on the other side, and then we'll take a look at what that side's looking like. Powering down. I like watching the improvements progress as you put parts in. It's nice. Alrighty, so over here on the passenger side, I'm gonna pull this intake tubing off. A couple reasons. Reason number 1, I want to clean out that mass airflow. And reason number 2, I also want to clean out the throttle body. But more importantly, I need to get access to this wire right here and these spark plugs and wires down here on the passenger side of this engine. So, pull our big wing nut off and pop this unit forward, disconnect the PCV hose right here on the valve cover, and then our tube comes free. Dude, that's kind of dirty in there. Look at that. Yeah, that needs some cleaning. No problem. We'll hit it with some throttle body cleaner. Give it a spray and a soak. I'll come back and wipe that down later. Okay, with all that removed, we've got a little bit more access on this side of the engine. So let's get these wires popped out of here and pull these plugs next. All right, coming in. Let's get the hard one first in the back. Get a hold of this guy. I'm just going to pop all 3 of these out at once, and then we'll pull all the plugs out at once as well. Save us a little bit of time. There's that one, and cylinder 4. Come here. Let's see here. Get that one.
that one there. Good to go. All right. Pop these units out, take a peek at them, and see if they're in any better or worse condition than the other side. Here's one. Number two. Got that one out. And the one out back. Cylinder 6. There we go. Okay, 3 new spark plugs coming in. We'll get them threaded and then run them down, apply some torque. We'll check out these wires. I'm very inclined to put wires on this. I have not decided on that distributor yet. I'm gonna drive it first. That distributor is an extra couple $100, and if we don't have to change it, then I don't want to. So if that code doesn't show up, then I'm not gonna fuss over it. I can't even get this plug to get started though. That heat shield's in my way. Oh, hot. Hot. Warm. Caliente in Espanol. There we go. Okay, got one's started kinda. There we go. Now we're cooking. Run this guy down. Yeah, that heat shield's putting like a side load on spark plug socket. They all do that on these 4.3s. Come on, come tight. Clickage. There we go. Give me back my socket, please. Come on, heat shield, give it back. Seriously? And I know you said, oh, there we go, got it. Socket gravity. Here, let's try to get cylinder number 2 threaded in. That's the one all the way up front here. That's the easier one to reach, and I can't start that one with the socket either. Good old heat shields. There we go. Coming in with the socket right here. Get that started. Good. Now let's get her tight. Pickage. There we go. 5 down, 1 to go. That one actually looks kind of easier. It's a straight shot into the plug hole right here. I think. Better be. Make a liar out of me. Come on. There it is. Got it. Manual clicks. There we go. All right, all 6 plugs are now installed. All right, so here's the deal. Kind of based on what we saw on that other spark plug on the other side. Let's see. This one, I found a crack in this wire right here. See it right there? There's a crack in that one. There's a couple other little burnt rubbing through spots. I'm gonna go ahead and change these wires out. I think I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up, and I'll just do that in high speed fast motion because you guys have been staring at these spark plugs for this whole video. So I'm gonna back you up some. We're just gonna speed this up, and let me get these wires switched out, and then we'll go ahead and restart this thing and recheck it.
Okie dokes, that's all of them, 6 of them anyway. Let's get wire number 7. That's right, there are 7 spark plug wires on this V6 engine, and the 7th one goes from the coil back to the distributor cap. So let's get that one plugged in and back down and around. Oddly enough, the 7th wire is the most important wire because all of the spark for every single cylinder is going to travel through this wire right here, whereas the other cylinders have their own individual wire. Interesting. Plug that guy in. Gotta feel the audible snap, or feel in here. If you don't get the snap, then it's not connected. And if it's not connected, it's gonna come off. Oh, there we go. Clickages. Got it, that one's on. Okay, all 7 wires are on. These wires are getting handled in a minute. Let's grab the spray one more time. Re-soak that throttle body. We'll go in there and wipe her down. Just go in there with a towel, wipe out the mouth of it. We'll grab the throttle plate. Yeah, look at all that nasty down in there. It's gross. We'll reach past, wipe all that stuff down. Now it's less gross. And we'll go in through the front side of it as well. There. And to get the spots we couldn't wipe, just spray it. Stinky. There we go. I think that's about as good as I can get it, unless I had some Q-tips, which I do not. Alrighty, nice and shiny. Okay, so before we really go any further, I want to kind of tidy up this replacement wire connector business that we've got going on here. So it looks to me like this is just 2 wires on this coil, but we have a 3-wire connector. So we got this spare one just kind of dangling, hanging out in the open. We don't need that. That looks ugly. So we're gonna snip that guy off and get rid of that. Then what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and cut off these butt connectors right there. And we're gonna shorten these so they're more prettier. See that? Go ahead and strip this one out. Get the bare wire exposed. A little bit more. I did not strip it enough. More stripping. There we go. Now this one is a little farther down inside of that convolute, so gotta reach down a little ways here. Give it some twists and some rotations. We'll gyrate it. And then we can throw our connectors over the wire. These are soldered connectors with built-in heat shrink. I'll run the wires into each other, give them a twist to create a semi-mechanical connection. That came out fail. Twist this up. And then I'll slide the solder connector down over it, and we'll hit it with a little torch to melt the solder and shrink the heat shrink. All right, little torch coming in, fire it up. There we go. And we'll just apply some heat. Start from the back side here. I like to do the heat shrink first, that way it locks the wires into place, and then I can go back and attack the solder. Come on, solder, begin melting. The back side is starting to melt. That's good. Let's flip it around. Get her from the front side here. You gonna flow solder or what? If it doesn't flow, I'll have to get the gun out. I think it's going. Yeah. Yep, I see some shiny in there. The solder is soldering. We'll go ahead and get the next one prepped up and ready. I'm going to do these equal length if at all possible. That way it stays pretty. Let's get the little one stripped. Right about there, 3/8 of an inch or so. We'll wiggle it so it cuts in, peel it away. And same thing on the white wire here. One connector. Just push these guys into each other. Twist them up. Good flow on that solder connection. I see it wicking through the exposed wire in there. Good, 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 good. All right. So far, so good. Now let's take our convolute here, also known as wire loom. We're going to clean this up a little bit and then cover up the repair. We'll do that by putting the wires back inside of the loom. We'll slip the new one down over the old one, see that? And then get these guys tucked in. Now we're pretty. Look at that, that's much more better. See that? That'll leave you stranded if you don't know how to find it. We're gonna fix that too. Here, we gotta do this without interfering with the actual wires that are on this connector. So, I'm trying to see how to do this without causing like a problem. Might have to do this in like stages. Yeah, that was a mistake. Or not, maybe not.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Okay, that plan was a failure, kind of. I learned how not to zip tie this thing together, so I'm switching my idea to smaller zip ties. We're gonna switch them out. I'm gonna try something different here. We can let's run a loop around the base of this ignition module, right? Then I can run a zip tie through my loop. Does this make sense? Watch this. It will, it'll make sense in a moment. It'll take 3 total zip ties to accomplish this little idea of mine. It's either gonna work or it's not, and I really would like it to work. See how we're doing 2 loops through there? So now I can take this first one and lock that down against that little lip right here. There we go. See that? That allows me to tighten the 2 looped ones and create some pressure that will secure. Oh, that one came off. No matter, I got one. It'll create some pressure that's going to secure that. Here, let's put you back. I found the flaw in my system, but I can remedy that with another zip tie. Watch this. Flip. I could glue it on, but that's a little bit more permanent
There. It's not pretty, but it's better than it was. Snip these guys off. There. We now have a secure, or a more secure wire. This is good. All right, that's super pretty. I like it. So let's look to the right a little bit, and we can hook our intake tube back on. Get that guy lined up. I think the stud came through the hole, which it did. Yeah. See it right there? That's our stud. Let's get our wing nut screwed back into our stud. Come here, wing nut stud. There you go. Let's get that guy tight. We'll get the PCV hose hooked back up, and then we'll reconnect over here at the mass airflow. I also give the mass airflow a squirt to help clean it off a little bit. Let's get you plugged in right there. There we go. Good. And the positive crankcase ventilation tube. That goes right there. Couple forward clicks on that clamp. We'll take this thing out on the road. Thickages. All right. Hood prop rod removed. Closing the hood. Let us restarting the engine. Double check it first, and then we'll head out on the road. See how it rides. Restarting. Nice. That long crank was a result of all the cleaner that I sprayed. It was sitting on top of the intake manifold, and it had to suck all that up and get rid of it before the thing was going to run. I can prove it. Watch. I'll shut her down, and instant restart. See? Looking good though. I see no shaking action, no visible misfire action here. Throttle was responsive, good to go. Okie dokes, let's climb back into this bad unit right here. We'll do one more quick code scan check, and then we'll pull her out and hit the road. Now keep in mind, I fully expect that check engine light to return. It's at least going to come back with the evap system leaks, or the P0440 and the P0443. It might come back with that camshaft position sensor trouble code, in which case I'll have to look into that distributor. But I wanted to rule out all the misfires first before going after that cam position code. So we're kind of taking this in baby steps instead of just, you know, one full boat. Change everything, parts counting. I'm gonna pull up misfires, and we're gonna just keep the misfire counter on display while we go out and head out for our test drive. So, honks for safety. Let's back this thing out, and we'll see how it runs. Okay, the misfire logger is pulled in. These are going to be the current misfires in this top section of the menu, and then down here in the history section, that's going to show all misfires that were logged that took place during the past couple drive cycles. Now, if you remember from the last video, these have been cleared out, and I believe they also re-cleared when we did the trouble code clear earlier in this video. So if any misfires do show up, they will remain stored in these history PIDs over here. And away we go. I think we're gonna do the normal short test drive route. We're gonna go around the block, up and over the bridge, and then around the block again, back to the shop. That should be sufficient to tell us what we want to know here. Okay, we're breathing on the throttle a little bit, picking up some speed. Felt pretty good so far. As we head up the bridge, we're gonna do a wide open throttle event, and that'll tell us pretty much everything we need to know here. Let's see what we've got going on. Traffic. I'll wait. Don't switch lanes. Full speed. Second gear shift was kind of aggressive, but the engine feels good. Feels very good. I like it. My telephone is ringing. Who is it? Hello?
Hi, how are you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Thanks for asking, sir. I'm pretty good. My name is Emma from the healthcare benefits,
she didn't
and
answer.
it's about any additional benefits of the Medicare. So do you have Medicare Part A and B?
Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Who are you calling?
Emma from the healthcare benefits, and this call is about the new additional benefits of the Medicare.
Oh, hi,
Do you
Emma.
have Medicare?
Yeah, we have that. Yeah, do you have extra benefits for us? Is that the reason for the call?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
That's it, so benefits. Okay. And now you are perfectly qualified to get $178 cashback on your Social Security, flex card, food stamps, grocery cards, and other new benefits without any cost. So just please hold on. I'm going to transfer your call with my senior supervisor who will assist you further, okay, ma'am?
Oh, okay. That's good. I don't know what she said. I really don't.
Thank you so much for holding on. This is Mark on the recorded line. How are you doing today?
Hello. Yeah, I was talking to Emma earlier, and she said that it was your turn to talk. How are you today, sir? Hello? 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 What? I didn't even say anything yet. Come on. Man, those guys are getting good. Well, anyway, this truck's moving, so I'm guessing we got our left turn little arrow over here. Let's check it. Yep, left turn arrow indicates we're good to make our left turn. Let's swing back into the shop. Maybe Emma will call back, but let's head back into the shop and we can review the scanner data and see if there's anything of consequence that has showed up. Crossing the tracks, pulling in. Hello, Tropicana trains. Let's get this thing pulled in and we'll recheck everything. I have not seen that check engine light come on for the camshaft position sensor code. So I'm thinking that may have been a fluke or an older latent code. Oh no, the paycheck collection truck is here. Oh no. Yeah, no way. Not today, Snap-on guy. I have to go on an extended test drive. We're out of here. Snap-on truck, you can't get me up here. Okay, he's gone. Now we can go back to the shop and recheck our data. Not gonna get me today, paycheck collection truck man. There we go. Parking the auto. Let's go ahead and shut her down. That was quite a lengthy drive cycle. Restarting the engine. We're looking for a trouble code. That's a big negative. We got nothing. Let's get into misfire data one more time. Collecting data. Satellites linking up. And okay, so there's our currents. Let's give it a throttle blip real quick. Nothing showing up live. Let's check history. Booyah, look at that. Zeros all the way across the board. No misfire history. All right, that is a success in my book. Let's just check for trouble codes real quick. Codes menu. See if any of them reset while we were driving or if they reset on that second ignition cycle. All powertrain codes, there we go. It's hard to read and talk at the same time. No codes present. However, I do expect that P0430 to show up, the catalytic converter efficiency below threshold, and I do expect those evap system codes to show up at some point. But we can cross those bridges when we get there. At this point, I'm not entirely convinced we need to dive into that distributor assembly and do anything with that camshaft position sensor circuit code. So I do believe at this point this video is at conclusion and we have completed a successful repair. Vehicle's running well. It starts, it runs, doesn't stall, doesn't blow smoke, stays running. It's got decent power, no weird noises. I think we're good to go here. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out right now. It's the end of the day. It's almost 5 p.m. I'm ready to go home. We are finished. So I'm gonna go ahead end this one right now. I'll do that as always by thanking you guys for watching this video. Certainly hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video or the last one, please feel free to let me know about that by tapping that like button down below. Don't forget to drop a comment or two while you're down there. And most importantly, have yourselves a great day. See you guys later. End of Chevrolet, end of day, end of tune-up, end of transmission. Silverado, powering down. Powering down, there we go.